Okay, so this is my response to video prompt disappearing bees. As per usual, I have everything pulled up off to the side for reference. Getting to it and looking at the first question. What relationship do bees have with the other organisms in their communities? I'm assuming that this means where the bee resides and the community that the bee lives within, so everything around the bee and that the bee interacts with. Marla Spivak, I'm not sure if I'm saying her last name right. She did touch on the purpose of bees and how they contribute to the environment and their community, but she didn't discuss it as deeply or in depth, I should say, as our textbook did. So, following what she said with what we've discussed in this course thus far, bees pollinate fruits, vegetables, and flowers, and essentially a large majority of angiosperms. They are attracted to flowers' shape, scent, color, etc., etc. And then bees get their protein from the pollen and they get their carbohydrates from the nectar. So flowers are food for bees. Bees pollinate because they travel from flower to flower to flower to flower. Honeybees and bumblebees, and I'm sure a few other species of bees, have fuzzy bodies and sticky legs, and as they travel from flower to flower to flower, they pick up pollen and deposit it. This helps with flower and plant reproduction. And when more flowers are, being reproduced and more plants are being reproduced, that leads to greater quantity and abundance overall. So, regarding the community itself, if there's more plants, thanks to bees, a lot of animals, birds, bears, literally any animal that eats plants, flowers, any fruits can survive. And then humans ourselves, we live off of fruits and vegetables, and we need bees to pollinate plants for us to live. So it's one big cycle that is very complex. And then looking at the second question, why are so many hives dying off? So Marla did offer a variety of reasons. She said diseases, parasites, flowerless landscapes, which can lead to a dysfunctional food system, monocultures, pesticides, herbicides, and insecticides. So a lot of these she did go into depth with, but the one that stood out to me the most was the change in farming practice. This stuck out to me because my dad used to be a farmer. And so Marla noted that after World War II, honeybees started declining due to farming practices or a change in farming practices. So we stopped planting cover crops, which are like clover and alfalfa, I think she said. Cover crops are natural fertilizers that help with nitrogen in the soil, and they're really nutritious for bees. But we stopped planting those cover crops because of needs or wants from a large majority of the human population. A lot of companies started adding corn and wheat and soy into their products, cereals. We could go into this nutritional wise, but they started incorporating a lot of that into the human diet, and so a change in farming and agriculture, what was being produced, was needed. So now that goes back to the monoculture part of it. A lot of farms are just strictly soybeans, strictly corn, and that's it. And those do not flower, and bees have no benefit off of those. And then all of those other reasons that Marla listed as well, the pesticides, herbicides, and insecticides, They really affect the bees. They can make them sick. They can make them drowsy. They can make them disoriented. They can make them die. And overall, there's a lot of things, but I think a majority of the reasons beehives are declining are due to humans. So